What's up, beautiful souls? Your boy Loon is back with another Reddit read, and today we are finally back on r/badwomensanatomy. It's been a while since we've been on this subreddit, and for those of you guys that are new to it, it is home of some of the most goofy and ignorant posts towards women's anatomy. So I'm excited to see what silliness we can get into today. So most of the time, it's common sense stuff, and every now and then, it's even stuff that I don't even know, because I'm obviously just a boy. And yeah, I'm excited to get into this, but real quick, before we do, if you guys are new to this channel and you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Help me towards the goal of 13,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I mean, we are growing at a great rate, and thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting me so far. And yeah, let's get into it without further ado. All right, so we got the top post of this week here, and this is the most liked one. It says, "This is an odd one, technically not women, but female anatomy. My friend is claiming that the fact that seahorses or female seahorses get males pregnant is liberal propaganda, and scientists got the sexes of the seahorses confused and haven't admitted it to support trans rights. I need to help prove him wrong." What? You don't even need any help. What is he even on? He sounds like a conspiracy theorist at this point. I'm pretty sure we have studied seahorses for a while now, and even when I was like a child, that was like the one thing we learned, was that male seahorses are the ones that get pregnant. We got a picture of two seahorses here. Seahorses. Is there any ratified evidence that it is 100% the female horses are shooting eggs into the male, and that the inside of the male pouch, he produces sperms to fertilize those eggs? Has there ever been a time a female seahorse has been left alone and had to drop eggs into the water that scientists have on tape? This argument is so stupid, but I'm also extremely curious if you have proof to shut my friend up. Thank you to whoever mentioned this seahorse behavior was first documented in the 1700s and 1800s, he believes now. Oh, okay, so there's an update that the guy actually believes, thank God. There are a stupid number of studies and papers on seahorses, reproduction, and the biological mechanisms and evolution thereof. It's a fantastic topic. Okay, so they link us to numerous articles and studies that all pretty much say, yes, the males are the one who give birth when it comes to seahorses. And yeah, I don't even need to dive into this too much, because I'm pretty sure I also learned this around like 8 or 9 in science class. And yeah, so that's just goofy that it's a liberal propaganda. You know, I'm curious if he heard this from somewhere, or it's just another one of those things that people just come up with in their brain because they want to be controversial. All right, this next part says, "Well, I guess I've lied to you." All right, I got to be careful showing this here, but you guys probably can't tell what this first top picture is, but it says, "Are you a real woman? Can you pass the pen under boob challenge?" So they essentially are trying to put a pen under your boob, and let's see if I can even pass it. Nope, no pen under the boob for me. And then this next one says, "Bitch, please fit a whole broom." Yeah, what kind of stupid ass challenge is that though? If you're a real woman, like, I don't think your boob size dictates if you're a real woman or not. I like to imagine that isn't a caption. She just has "bitch please" hanging on her wall in the wooden letters from Lowe's. This one comment says, "Creaky crone voice. Back in my day, we called it the pencil test, and it was usually whether you could hold a pencil and how many of them. Then my friend with the most voluptuous chest went to college and got a simpler blessed cursed roommate." Yeah, it is. Guys don't often realize that big yoinkers come at a big cost, because it hurts backs. And I would get occasional reports, "Elfie can hold a duck boot." What? We can both hold a psych textbook? That is insane strength that are coming from the bosoms. In order to hold a textbook, that's insane. This next one's title says, the V is all the holes, and it's the whole area of the crotch. Okay. We got a Threads post here, and it says, "OMG, as a nurse, I can't tell you how many times men were shocked that the urinary catheters, I don't know how to say that, indeed are not placed in the V. Yes, there are 3 holes." Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, us men, we did not really learn or focus in sex ed. We were just thinking about other things, because here's another thing. Why is it that sex ed comes at a time when you're like 13, 14 in middle school, and it's always like the most boring teacher? Like, guys are not going to focus on that. I remember I learned more S education after the fact than anything, which is so bad and it's like backwards. That should not be how it is. Someone responds to that and says, the V is all the holes, you ignorant fool. The V is the whole area in the crotch, including all the holes. This is what they taught us in S-Ed in school, and I will believe a teacher over some idiot on the internet. Wow. Yes, the legendary urethral birth, where you just piss out your baby. Something tells me that they failed that class. Yeah, that's pretty silly. And we move on. The title of this one says, I feel her go wet about 15 minutes into the S. What? Is this men riding women again? Wow, I'm gonna have to blur this as the language is pretty interesting. But this is on Reddit, and someone posted saying, we'll say doing, but he says it in a very douchey way. You guys can fill that in. I was doing a MILF for about 6 months. She was 34 and I was 21, up until the day of her marriage. That's wild. What? She would whisper in my ear, it's just S, don't fall in love. Edit. Few Redditors have asked how I met her and for tips for MILFs, okay? Use this at your own discretion. You could possibly get unalived by the husband or boyfriend. Oh God, so he's gonna give us a lesson on how to home wreck, essentially. We'll just say that. And again, I'm gonna have to blur this because wow. I learned how to play golf at a young age. I was at a country club playing golf with a friend. After a round of golf, I was practicing putting and there she was. She was also practicing. After a few minutes, I walked over to her and asked her if she would like a few pointers. She said yes. I get behind her in the cliche, I'm going to teach you how to play golf, and she is pushing her booty into my crotch. Wow. Does that actually work? Like we see those in movies. I mean, maybe. I have seen some like women out there that are married that will go for a young stud. Like just, it's goofy. Now, when I golf, really any time where the weather is over 80 degrees, I go free in the breeze, no underwear. After a few minutes of this, she has worked me up a little bit. I tell her now you try as a few. Oh, I tell her you try a few as I am being all suave with my left hand holding my blank down. After a few minutes of thinking about anything from grandma's to having my D slammed into the door, the situation was back to safe for work conditions. She then said, I will buy you a drink for helping me. Sounds good. So we get drinks for 2 hours and I carry her clubs and mine out to her cars. Put my clubs in her car and carry hers over to her Land Rover. She thanks me again and goes to give me a hug and then puts her hand on my club and says, I would really like some practice and some time and practice with this. Oh, he's obviously which club he's talking about. I go instant hard with her hand still grasping my, we'll say club, and says, let's go back to my place. This sounds a little too movie-like for me to believe so far. It sounds very much like what you watch when you watch Corn on the Cob. She follows me over to my place and we have S for about 4 to 5 hours initially. This is getting awfully skeptical. What do you say, Sora? He also agrees. 4 to 5 hours. I mean, it's possible, very improbable though. I'm going to say the longest that I have ever gone, and that's because I was under the influence of things that are legalized in certain states. This was a long time ago. I went for maybe 3 hours, but there was breaks and there was I lost concentration of what I was doing because I was so under, at 4 to 5, I don't believe that. That's pretty crazy. Even 3, I'm pretty sure we took a hour break and just cause I couldn't, release or anything. So continuing, after he said they did it for 4 to 5 hours initially, I fall asleep and wake up with her doing stuff with her mouth, we'll say. I am still sore from the 5 climaxes that I had previously with her, but the captain still was at full salute. So she then climbed on top. See, I don't know. Here's the part I don't believe, because after each time that you do, you don't last as long the next. Actually, that's false. It depends, but I don't know. I just don't believe this. Doing it for 5 times is crazy. I would just be cooked in a row at least. So then she climbed on top as we proceeded to have a good 30-minute workout. I feel her go wet about 15 minutes into the S. Okay. I'm starting not to believe this, dude. I think I can unblur from here. She goes wet 15 minutes into it. She either has an actual problem or she's not into you. Because why would she be wet after 15 minutes? That's not how it works. This guy, I feel like he's never done it then. Even if he's fabricating the story, because that's not how it works at all. They usually, you would want them to be, you know, lubricated up, no diddy, before you even do anything. What is going on? I'm so confused. He continues, it says, she, you know, continues faster and faster until I am about to go and feel her blank begin to pulse. As I blast my dose, she gushes hers. Oh God. All right. This is starting to sound like some fanfic type beat. She gets up and says, I have to go now, but I will be back if that's okay with you. Great. I will see you tonight then. She was back over that evening. TLDR, learn golf or tennis and pick up the rich country club chicks. They buy you tons of stuff and are often neglected actually by their husbands and boyfriends. I mean, that part can very well be true. As someone who has worked around country club type people, that can be very true. However, I don't know if the story is. He almost got me at the beginning, but that's just crazy. Someone said he has definitely had S with a woman before. Yeah, 4 to 5 hours every day. The S even. Why was there the? Yeah, that is also weird. He almost said it as if it's like this monumental action. Yeah, it just doesn't sound like somebody who knows what they're doing would say. Even if they were fabricating that story, you know? You can really tell that this man made this up because he claims to have approached her to give unsolicited advice and she was into it. Lol. It's so weird when men talk like this. They see us as part of their story and apparently don't realize how painfully obvious it is when they're writing it in their head while talking to us. Yep. Men writing women. This next one's title is Women Don't Got That Power. All right. So we are on a Facebook post and it looks like of some baby. Someone comments and says, actually, he was in your husband's balls. You just carry the home he needs to grow in. Okay, so obviously this guy is talking about the fact that babies are sperm cells first. And that's goofy because it takes two. It takes the egg as well to create a human being. Someone comments on that and says, eggs develop in the female fetus during pregnancy, in a female fetus during pregnancy. So while she was in her mother's womb, she grew fallopian tubes, ovaries, and uterus. And then someone else comments on that and says, no, the point is the actual baby was in your partner's balls. You carry the tools to hold the baby for it to grow and develop, but that baby itself was never a part of you. It's home, the egg it grew from, yes, but what actually creates the baby, no woman don't got that power. Yeah, but the argument can also be the reverse, right? No man has that power either. We literally cannot create babies. Like, what? What is up with this, like, us against them mentality? It's just so silly. Why can't we just accept that it takes both of us to create a person? Now the argument is there for the woman having to actually nurture and develop the baby within her body. So yes, the woman has more to do with the creation of humans. But in terms of like the actual initial creation, it takes both. It literally takes both people. What is this? What is this that's going on? Are we going in reverse now? We're starting to like not learn things anymore. Someone says friend wears tampon even when she isn't on it. What? Why? Why are you wearing what? For what reason? Quote, I normally wear tampons 3 days before my due date to avoid surprises. Huh. I wonder the impact in that. I mean, there's got to be some type of impact in doing it when it's not actually needed. Wouldn't it dry you up completely? I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I've told her that this is bad for her, but she won't listen. I don't even know how she gets it up there without the blood lubricant. Yeah, that's also another thing, right? Like, isn't that the whole part of it? Oh, I can feel the dry scraping insertion just reading that. Oh, it's crazy because I'm a dude and I'm even thinking about it, and that sounds not fun. Has she considered pads or panty liners for the days before? Yeah, that's just so much more practical. I would understand if it's pads because then it's just the outer lining, or same thing with liners. I mean, I'm still thinking like that's pretty goofy. I feel like most women that I've talked to, they usually start wearing like darker underwear during the like, you know, black or red underwear during that time when it's close to it, especially if they're not on birth control because it's not as regulated. just in case of surprises, right? Because then that makes sense. But then the pads also can make sense, but it sounds pretty nasty. And that's coming from a guy that like only knows the bare minimums, already kind of knows that that's goofy. She still won't get surprised with bloody underwear, but at least she's not trying to force a dry, up her. There we go. That's wild. Damn. But this is also another tell for like what women have to go through. The fact that you guys didn't even think about some goofy stuff like that. Dudes are just like, all right, time to put on underwear. I mean, we could even wear the same underwear if we wanted to. That's nasty, but we could. In theory, just flip it over. All right, this one says women have no hearts. R linked in lunatics is the original subreddit Sigma Boy. All right, so we got Prathamas Kavan in Indeed from California here. It says breaking news in the world of cardiology. Apparently, only men die of heart attacks. Women? Never heard of it. Shocking, isn't it? That's gotta not be true. Let's look at the heart attack demographics. Whoa, really? In 2023, 1 in every 3 deaths were caused by a heart attack? That's actually, or a heart disease, sorry. That's pretty insane though. All right, let's talk about heart attacks. 1 in every 5 heart attacks are silent, blah, 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 blah. Who is affected? Here we go. Oh, they don't have a split on gender. Hold up. All right, so this is on newsroom.heart.org. Researchers found a total of 25,000 patients essentially. And among this group, 35 were women and 66 were men. And with the heart attacks, it was 26.5% were women, 73.5% are men, with the more severe heart attacks. So with that being said, that means that yes, men have likely more heart attacks statistically, but women still have it. So this whole claim is just goofy. Well, here's the truth. This is what this guy says. Men have hearts, women are heartless. Oh, brother. Dude connects it to that. Are you serious? Tell me you're a nice guy without telling me, dude. So, gentlemen, if your cardiologist is nagging you about cholesterol, stress, or healthy habits, just a reminder, your heart exists. It's fragile. It hates you. What the hell? What? This is such victimhood and like nice guy activity. Ladies, feel free to skip cardio. Your heartlessness is apparently a superpower. More of the story, men, you're literally ticking time bombs disguised as human beings, or living humans. Women, enjoy the irony of outliving the very organs you pretend to have. Wow. What? That was so cringy. Ugh. I can't believe someone out here actually wrote that. This is a person hoping to have a job in cardiology one day. Grow up. Why would you post incel on LinkedIn of all places? Unless you're certain you will never want to find another job in your life. Yeah, that is very incel of you to say. Did you guys know that the clitoris have a hole? Has a hole. Dude, that's so funny. Are you serious? Ew, what hole? How many holes are there in the human body? I can think of at least at most 10. Mouth, left and right nostril, left and right ear, left and right eye, anus, urethra, and clitoris. Dude, the clitoris is not a hole. This is another example of why men just genuinely don't even know where that is. Just get a girlfriend. I know that's easier said than done, but get a girlfriend willing to explain to you what a clitoris is. That's what I had to do. That's how I learned from my first ever experience. All right, this one says, any pregnancy has complications, so it's fine for an 11-year-old to get pregnant? What? I heard this nonsense on a forum I was on, and they said the following, quote, I took biology in uni, so I know what I'm saying. Oh, God. Anytime somebody try to claim that they know everything that they're saying, I just instantly think that they're idiots. Any pregnancy can have complications, so it's totally normal and fine for 9 to 12-year-olds to get pregnant and give birth. What kind of logic is that? What? That doesn't make any sense. What the hell are you even talking about? Any human being can fly a plane, so it's totally normal and fine for a blind person to fly a plane, right? Yeah, anyone can do a lot of things, but should they? No, are you serious right now? Are you an idiot or what? What was this form? That's effed up and sounds very much like PDF file apology. Yeah, I agree as well. That's very gross of anyone to say. Doesn't matter who they are. 9 to 12 is an absurd time to be thinking about getting pregnant, period. Are we dead ass? Their bodies are not even developed enough to have a safe pregnancy. They could die. Yeah, that's a whole thing, guys. Not to mention that they are children and should live their childhood. Straight up pedophilia. I bet the idea is doing rounds because of the new conservative martyr once said that if his daughter was ARD at 10 years old, he'd force her to give birth to any result. Yeah, that's stupid. I hate that ideology. I'm not saying that it's only the right, but God, anybody who thinks that that is acceptable is stupid. I don't even need to harp on that one. Right and left tampons. So as a bloke, could a lady please explain to me the difference between a left and right tampon? Oh, okay, poor guy. Okay, so the guy just doesn't understand. And it's also funny because I think he probably saw this and saw the tampon like on the left and the tampon on the right. So he attributed it to left and right. That's light and regular, I believe. If I'm mistaken, someone correct me in chat. And you know, here's a little lesson that I've learned as a dude. Tampon sizes is based on how absorbent they are. It's not the actual size of the tampon. When I first learned about them, I thought it was like, oh, small, extra, you know, light, extra. Like, no, it's based on absorbance and stuff. And then there's like variations. There's brands. There's even types of like active and versus. Yeah, there's a lot of varying. Yeah, so that's funny. That's cute though. I mean, that's just ignorance, right? Guy just doesn't understand. Most comments were not serious at all. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's because some women menstruate from their left V and others from their right. Kind of like how you have a runny nose. Sometimes only one nostril is runny. Yeah, that's funny. What is the title of this one? Did you know that the V and the throat are connected? No, but come on. Are you serious? They are made from the same tissues and energetically, when one opens, so does the other? No, that is so... You have never been sexually active with a woman then. Are you serious? It can open. If you experience trauma in one, the other will often contract in response. Based on what research did you do, brother? This is the real black historian, by the way. Hence the reason being choked enhances no, there's a lot of other reasons why choke can be a turn on or turn off for women. Sometimes a turn off, believe it or not. You have the power to bring life through one and speak life through the other. Know your power, watch your mouth, and close your legs. What the hell kind of logic did he just implement in this? What kind of ignorance does this dude have? That is next level for the real black historian. That's silly. Genuinely silly. Okay, the whole thing is wild, but that ending, shut up and don't be a skank, was certainly a conclusion. For real, like how did that even connect to what you just said? What I'm hearing is that queefs have an unusual power to create life. That's funny. All right, this one says cooked. So we're on Reddit and someone says, my pastor said we only cover women's breasts in public because God made the areolas to appear like giant eyes to ward off predators. What? Have you never seen a dude with giant like areolas? Are you serious? I've seen many dudes, so that doesn't make any sense. Since women usually have larger ones, this can cause panic and fear in horses. That is so not true. And I can attest to this because I had a friend growing up, poor dude. I'm not gonna say his name, who was cursed with huge areolas. And we all called him pepperoni for obvious reasons. He was a dude, just saying. So this makes zero sense. Someone commented saying, unfortunately, they wouldn't ward off womankind's top predator. Yeah, and she's not talking about the bear. All right, this one just says, what? So we're on Twitter. I read it again, and it says, I'm a girl, so I can produce that. Oh, so I can't produce that, sorry. The OP of the post said that. Someone comments and says, yes, you can. Females can produce sperm similar to men. No, they can't. What? Dude, every day there is a new idiot. Like, genuinely. Like, what? Every gender in S can produce sperm or semen. Yeah, he got so many downvotes. What? By Joe Biden. That's funny. All right, so this one was under a post about topless women on an equal exposure rally. Okay. r/women in news with shirts off and breasts out. Women rally for exposure. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so someone comments says, wow, it'll be like the old National Geographic photos where all the elderly tribe women are sitting around with their little bodies or little boobies, literally resting in their laps. These gals are forgetting about the long-term effects of gravity. There is a reason why bras were invented. Does he not know that that's not the reason that bras were invented? What? They don't keep... Okay, I'm just not gonna... All right, let's continue reading. Someone comments and says, that's actually a myth. Okay, here we go. I don't even have to explain it. There are actual studies from France that shows that not wearing a bra has little to no effect on how your breasts droop over time. It is very much to do with how many children you birth. Yes, that does impact it. Whether or not you have breastfed for how long. And then just the good old genetics. Involving underlying musculature and the size of your breasts, I generally go braless unless I'm going to be walking fast or in polite company. I started going braless more after healing from a lumpectomy and radiation. Couldn't stand wearing much of anything more than a light cotton tank style bra at most. And that's still what I wear to this day when I actually put one on. Edit to add, my theory is that bras were actually invented to enhance breasts for the pleasure of men who are very visual creatures. Yeah, I could actually see that theory. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Because, like, it being pushed up, nice. Someone says, there's no disputing the National Geographic photos, though. It's definitely a phenomenon that can happen to women who never wear a bra. No, because correlation doesn't equal causation. Just because you see pictures of people without bras and they're old doesn't mean that that has anything to attribute with the bra. It could be a multitude of factors, like the ones she just listed. There's no disputing the National Geographic photos, though. They literally have evidence that they were wrong, shoved it right in their face, and he goes, "Nuh-uh." I guess some people really don't care about actually being right. They just want to feel like they're right. Yeah, that's such big facts, dude. That's a reality that we live in. A lot of people would just always clamor to whatever keeps them from feeling right than being right. And it's crazy because we're in a day and age where there's literal like AI and Google and stuff, and people are still idiots. But hey, I kind of like that people are idiots because it's entertaining. As long as they don't do anything actually crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed this. This was such a goofy time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Also hit the hype and like button down below. And let me know in the comment sections anything you guys got going on. I will see you guys in the next video, which is hopefully going to be tomorrow. Catch you guys then. Bye.